Hi, in this lesson, we are going to talk about how to create your first chart using a Mac. So the first thing that we're going to do is click on the icon for Parashara's light. And once you do that, you should pull up a screen that looks like this. You'll see it's a colorful cobalt blue background. We have one of the deities here. As long as you get this background in some shape or form, you're good. The next thing that you'll notice is that these icons up here are not highlighted or activated. What we need to do is create a chart and then they will become activated. So how do we do this? The first thing we're going to do is go to File. Once you click on File, you'll see a drop down. You'll click on New. You'll have what's called a data entry box pop up. This is the source of ground truth where you enter all the data that you need to generate a chart. You'll see there's 4 tabs here. There is birth data, event, lineage, and notes. For the sake of our demo, we are going to focus only on birth data. Within the birth data tab, you will see there are 5 major components. That is name, gender, date, time, and location. We're going to take this one at a time and walk through them. The first one is name, and this is your name, your client name, the name of the event or the prajna, which is a question chart for a moment in time. You can be as creative or simple with the name. If you don't put a name in there, it is going to default to prajna. You always want to make sure you have something in there. We are going to use an archetype and call this person the astrologer. The next thing you'll note is gender. As of right now, Parashara's light has 2 genders, male or female, and this represents the traditional Vedic framework of identifying the sex at birth. This is not necessarily what the individual may identify with later in life. You can see there's 2 buttons here. If you click on either one of them, they go between the 2. We're going to click on female. The next component is date. The date that it defaults to is today's date or the date that you are filling out this data entry box. If you click on the X, the date will disappear. And then if you click on now, the date will reappear. So what we're going to do is make up a date this person was born, and we're going to say she was born January 2nd, 1980. The next component is time. As I'm sure you know by now, time is a super critical part of Vedic astrology. The ascendant changes every 90 minutes, and time, in essence, is what gives you the cosmic blueprint of the chart. It's important to enter the time in military time. Similar to the date, the time that default is the current time that the data entry box pops up. You can exit out, or you could have highlighted it, and you can write in the time the person was born. We are going to say this person was born at 1:30 in the afternoon, and remember, we are using military time. The next part is location. The location consists of country, state, and city. My recommendation is to complete it in that order because sometimes when you start with the city, what happens is system freezes, Parashara's light stops working, and you pretty much have to close the app and start all over again. So if you click on the field for country, you'll see there is a list of all the countries in the world. We are going to stick to the United States. For state, we're going to change this to Massachusetts. And for city, you can either highlight this or you can X out of it, and we're going to type in Boston. Once you click Tab, you will see a preliminary image of the chart right here. Also, what happens is the longitude, latitude, time zone, DST, which stands for Daylight Saving Time, will auto-populate. If for whatever reason you want to manually input the longitude, latitude, time zone, and DST, you check the manual box, you hit modify, and you will see a box pops up that lets you manually input longitude, latitude, time zone, and daylight savings. We are going to click cancel, and we are going to uncheck the manual, and you will see it says we have switched to an auto lookup mode, which was our original mode. So I'm going to click OK here. The next thing I want to point out is you can see where it says save as default place. This is great when you are looking at a bunch of charts in the same location or you are doing prasnas. For those of you who may or may not be familiar with, a prasna is a question chart, which is asked at any moment in time for things like, when will I get a new job? When will I start a new relationship? When will I move? Questions like that. The last thing I want to point out is something called Rodin or Rodin's rating. I'm not sure how we pronounce it. For what we're doing, we are going to leave it on unrated. If you click on this field, you will see there is a drop down where you can choose from different categories here. And this is when you're looking at charts collectively. But for our purposes, we are going to leave it on unrated. And then if we click OK, voila, you will see a chart popped up. As you can see, the icons up here are all activated and lit up. We have the name of our client, the birthday, the time, and the place of birth. This current chart is in the South Indian configuration. So if we want to change this to another type of chart, we can go to Option, Chart Style, and we will see another box pops open. If we look at the Chart Style section, we have different types of charts that we can choose from. We're going to click on North Indian, click OK, and then the chart changes to the North Indian configuration. The last thing we are going to do is save the chart. We are going to go back to File, click on Save As, and you will see a Save As dialog box pops up. You'll notice here, instead of saying the astrologer, as we had initially typed in the client's name, it says astrologer, the. Parashara is like, for some reason, kind of does a switcheroo with first and last name, putting last name first, first name last. So we can either just X this out, can delete the whole thing, or just add over here, the, and then you can click save. If you want this to go into another file area, you can just simply click down here and choose a different space to save your files. I am going to leave it on its default location, which is GeoVision Charts. I'm going to click Save. And now we have a confirmation the file was saved. And we are going to click OK. So there you have it. You created your first chart. Congratulations. Once you do this a couple of times, you'll be a pro.